Do you want daily videos around the Boston Red Sox? We haven't been doing videos every day, and that's because the studio space here at Chat Sports is limited. I had a meeting with the bosses, and they told me, Jack, if you get to 1,000 subscribers, you can start doing videos daily here at Chat Sports. I want to do that. I want to have daily Red Sox videos, especially with opening day coming up soon. We are 403 subscribers away. So if you want daily videos around the Red Sox, news, rumors, injury updates, all of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Welcome into the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack Lautaret, and today we are going to do a bit of an experiment. I am going to do my first 26-man roster projection, projecting the opening day roster for the Boston Red Sox. It's going to be fun. We're going to start with the catchers. We're going to do the infield, outfield, into the pitching and bullpen, and then we'll get on our merry way. Let's start with the catchers. Number one is Connor Wong. This one's obvious. He's going to be your starting catcher. Obviously, he's got the sore shoulder, but everything that Alex Cora is saying is that he's going to be making his debut at some point this weekend. The surpriser, though, is who I have backing him up. I went with Carlos Narvaez. I'm going to be frank. Narvaez has surprised me so far this offseason. I've tweeted about him numerous times on my Twitter. I love what he has shown, especially defensively. He's thrown out a runner already. He's got great blocking, and he's got really great framing as well. And he's got a little bit of offensive value. He started to show that his bat has looked pretty good as well. Narvaez has been one of the underrated gems that I have watched so far in spring training. And I think that when the opening day roster is solidified, he will be the backup catcher other than Blake Sabol. I predicted Blake Sabol a few days ago, but since I've started to watch Carlos Narvaez play, I think it's going to be Narvaez. But you let me know, who is going to be Connor Wong's backup on opening day? Is it going to be Carlos Narvaez? Give me a CN. If you think it's going to be Blake Sabol, give me a BS. I think it's going to be Narvaez. I think they're going to go for more of the defensive backstop, but Sabol does have the offensive upside. So we'll see. You let me know down below in the comments. The next two are our first baseman. Obviously, Triston Casas is going to be your starting first baseman. He has the potential to be an absolute bona fide superstar this year, and I think he will be. And then Romy Gonzalez. And the reason why I have Gonzalez here with Casas is because he has kind of been the de facto backup first baseman. That's who they've been working with all spring training. He has not made his spring training debut yet, but that is supposed to happen this weekend as well. And other than that, your first base depth is pretty limited. You know, you can play a David Hamilton if you need to. You could play a Rob Refsnyder. You could play a Connor Wong, but true players getting first base reps, all you really have is Triston Casas and Romy Gonzalez. So if one of them goes down with injuries, you might be a little bit pressed. So that's a position to watch out for, maybe making a smaller move before the season or around the trade deadline. Alex Bregman. He comes in at number 5. Another obvious one. You sign him to your roster before the start of spring training. The biggest signing that was been made in the past few years. And Alex Bregman, I am projecting, will be your opening day second baseman. I don't think that that's going to be a surprise. I know we have the Rafael Devers stuff that's been going on, but Devers has now come out and said he's not frustrated with the Red Sox, so that's a good thing. We'll talk about Devers in a little bit, but I think Bregman's going to be your opening day second baseman. That's why they brought him in, and he has said countless times he is willing to play wherever. So play him at second base. You round out your infield. It's quick. It's easy. Do it. I did it, folks. I think Kristian Campbell makes this opening day roster. He has the best shot of the big three to make the opening day roster. He is in a legitimate battle with Vaughn Grissom to make the opening day roster, and I think he slides his way in like a little snake, slides his way into the opening day roster. And the reason why this works is because I project that Masataka Yoshida is going to start the season on the IL. We did get news today that he has been cleared for BP and that he may start DH in some spring training games coming up, but he is only thrown from 45 feet. And I think until they are incredibly sure that he is fully healed, this is an out for the Red Sox. To place him on the IL to start the season, you can bring in Kristian Campbell to bring up one of those prospects, And I think that works out for everyone. So I think Kristian Campbell is going to make the opening day roster. And the reason why is because I think Masataka Yoshida starts the season on the IL. But you let me know. Does Kristian Campbell make the opening day roster? I want you to type a Y for yes if you think he does. I want you to type an N for no if you think he does not. I think he does. This is going to be one of the biggest storylines. This has been one of the biggest storylines of all spring training. I want your thoughts. Y for yes, N for no, let me know. All right. Even though Kristian Campbell makes the roster, I do still think Vaughn Grissom makes the roster. Trevor Story is going to be your opening day shortstop. I think Vaughn Grissom makes it as a utility piece because I think Vaughn Grissom, while you've been playing him at second base, he's gotten time at shortstop. He's gotten time all over the infield. I think he's going to play a big utility role for the Red Sox to start the season. Does he get phased out when Yoshida comes back if Campbell solidifies himself as a perennial superstar? That could happen, but for now, I think Grissom stays on the roster. Story, like I said, opening day shortstop. And then you have David Hamilton. David Hamilton has impressed so far in spring training. He has been fantastic both defensively, and he's been really good at the plate. He's had really good plate discipline. He's strung together long at bats. He's had great hits. He showed his base running upside and his speed, stealing multiple bases so far this spring training. He's come in a lot stronger with more muscle, a lot bigger. He has done everything he's needed to solidify himself as a key platoon piece on this roster. So I think David Hamilton, one of the biggest surprises in spring training so far, and I think he has solidified himself as probably the Rob Refsnyder of the infield. Rafael Devers. Of course he's going to be on the roster, so okay, big shock. Rafael Devers is on the roster, but I wanted to talk about him a little more individually because he's going to be your opening day third baseman. He is. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. I don't think there's any doubt in Craig Breslow's mind or Alex Cora's mind. Rafael Devers will be your opening day third baseman. Will he end the season at third base? That's up for debate. But I think right now, the way that we sit, it is Triston Casas, it is Alex Bregman, it is Trevor Story, it is Rafael Devers. That is your infield. And with Connor Wong catching. I think you give him a few months. You see how it goes. Does he play better defense like we think he might? Or does Alex Bregman need to move over? Will Rafael Devers see that his defense is on the decline and say, okay, you know what? I think the DH spot makes sense. There's going to be a lot of questions. Everyone's going to be heavily watching him when he comes in for spring training. But I think when it's all said and done, Rafael Devers will be your opening day third baseman. The outfield is simple. I think it's a lot simpler than I think we thought it was going to be going into the offseason. Jarren Duran, Ceddanne Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu. That is your opening day outfield. Duran in left, Ceddanne in center, Wilyer in right. Rob Refsnyder, of course, as the backup platoon outfielder. I'm going to be frank with you guys. I think this could be a top 5 outfield in baseball. I legitimately do. Jarren Duran finished top 10 MVP voting in the AL last year. He won the All-Star MVP. Wilyer Abreu won a Gold Glove. Ceddanne, I think, is poised for a breakout because he's going to be just in center and not having to worry about shifting between the infield and the outfield. So with Ceddanne having more stability, I think he'll have more stability at the plate as well. He started to have some good at-bats in spring training from what we've seen. I think if they all reach what I believe is their ceiling, if Duran can have another great year like last year, if Abreu can add more offense on top of his already Gold Glove level defense, if Ceddanne finally settles in, becomes the Gold Glove center fielder we think he can be, starts to contribute a little more at the plate, this legitimately could be a top 5 outfield in baseball, and I think that's a good thing. The rotation is pretty self-explanatory. We've talked about this ad nauseum at this point. Garrett Crochet, Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler, Brian Bayo, Lucas Giolito. Reports from Bayo, he's going to have a bullpen this weekend. I would assume it goes well. I would assume he's ready to go. These 3 are all going to be ready. Lucas Giolito is ahead of the curve. All the reports are saying that he's going to be ready. Bayo's the only question mark, but I think if everyone's healthy, this will be your 5-man rotation for opening day. I think it's arguably a top 10 rotation in all of baseball, and I think these 3 are going to be some of the best pitchers in baseball. Crochet, I think, could win the Cy Young this year. But you let me know. What is your confidence level in the Red Sox rotation? If everyone is healthy, I would give it an 8.5. because there's unproven commodities. There's things you need to determine, but I would give it about an 8.5, 7. I would give it an 8, 8.5, but you let me know. Confidence level in the Red Sox rotation on a scale of 1 to 10. Now we get into the bullpen. This is probably the most interesting battle of the entire offseason. I think these are your 4 locks, okay? I think Liam Hendriks is going to be your closer. He showed great stuff today at the time of recording this. His first outing in spring training, he looked awesome. He looked electric. I think he is your closer opening day. I think Aroldis Chapman, as much as I hate it, will be in your bullpen. I think he's going to be a setup man in the 7th or 8th inning. Garrett Whitlock is going to be a key piece of this bullpen as well. And I think Cooper Criswell is going to make the opening day roster as a long reliever for this team. If they need to inevitably have a bullpen day, he will be your long reliever. Now we get into the last 3 spots. And these are the interesting spots because there's like 5 or 6, 7 guys that are vying for these last few spots. I have Luis Guerrero in the opening day roster. Guerrero has impressed me immensely so far in spring training. He has electric stuff. He has been absolutely locked down. And I think in 2 outings, he has already solidified, in my opinion, an opening day roster spot. 2 innings pitched. He's given up 1 hit, 1 walk. Of the 6 outs he's gotten, 5 of them have been strikeouts. Absolutely electric stuff. I love what Guerrero brings to this bullpen, and I think already 2 outings in, he has solidified himself as a member of the 26-man roster. This is another one of my least favorite entries into the roster. I don't love Aroldis Chapman. You guys already know why I don't love Aroldis Chapman. Justin Wilson, at the time of recording this, had a rough day today. He really did. And I gave this signing a C+ in my grades video. I don't love this signing. The only reason he's on this roster is because he's a lefty. That's the only reason. And because if you look at the advanced stats, he has high whiff rate, good swing and miss. If he wasn't a lefty, if he was a righty, he would not be on my roster. He wouldn't. But because he's a lefty and because you have very limited options for lefties in the bullpen, he's got to be on the roster. And to round things out, Justin Slayton. I think he's earned a spot. He pitched really well last year. I think he's got very high upside. He has definitely earned a spot in this bullpen. He is going to round out my Red Sox 26-man roster. Grade it for me. Be the teacher. Be harsh. Let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. How would you grade my Red Sox roster? Real quick before I get out of here, I didn't add this call, and it's okay. We can stay on this. Notable people I left off my roster. Blake Sable, we already talked about. The rest of these are relievers. Brennan Bernardino, Richard Fitz, Zach Kelly, Quinn Priester, Greg Weisser, and Josh Winkowski. All in AAA. I think that Priester and Fitz are going to be waiting in the wings in case a starter doesn't make the roster. Cutter Crawford, I also think, starts on the IL. He was not on this roster as well. And then the rest of these relievers are also going to be waiting in the wings. I wanted to add that as a caveat real quick. Those are people that I did not have on my 26-man roster. But again, grade it A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know. And again, if you want daily Red Sox videos, I want to do daily Red Sox videos, especially when opening day comes around. I'm going to be boots on the ground in Arlington for the first 3 games of the Red Sox season. I'm going to be at the first 3 games of the Red Sox season at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. I want to do videos boots on the ground, but the only way we can do that is if we get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not already, hit that subscribe button. And if you have, send that link to a friend.